So yesterday I went down to Olympic Park for the Go Local event. This video is all about that. What you'll see in the video is these foam fingers. If you'd like to win one of these from me, then you've got to look out for the 4 things within this video that you're going to need to do to be in with a chance of winning. Right, I'm in Westfield Shopping Centre and I'm on my way to the Go Local event at Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park. First of all, I'm going to the Cow Pub, which is the sort of games maker pub that they used all through the games. I'm going to meet a few games makers. I got a bit lost, but this volunteer lady here has just given me the right directions, so I should be there in a minute. I suspect I'm in the right place. How awesome. Massive fun fair down there. We're just about to go to, I think. There's your park and your orbit.
Exactly, the games makers. I am with Join In today. I should explain what I'm doing here. I'm just going to talk to you. I'm here for a mission because I am the patron of Join In, and this is the Go Local event in London. And we're encouraging people to be local volunteers all around the UK so that we can get next generations of sports people coming through. And it's a huge event happening today. And if people want to know how to join in, there's 10,000 events happening this year in the UK. Just go to the Google Join In, go to the Join In website. You can find out how to help out. We need people, mums, dads, brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts, to just volunteer their time, even just drive a car, make soup, even soup. You can do things like this. So I'm here talking. There's a huge, you can't see this on radio, but you've got to imagine it. There's a huge group of people here. Say hello to the LVC people, yeah. I wasn't making it up. There's a huge group of people. I really do think the games makers, London ambassadors, people volunteering, and it's continuing on. We're encouraging it to continue on. And anyone who saw the closing ceremonies of the Olympics and the Paralympics, standing around of applause for volunteers, because people were sleeping on other people's floors, camping out to just do this. They weren't getting paid. It was such an amazing thing. I was just sort of cheerleading, trying to encourage people to use their common sense, is what I said. And it's such a great thing to have, common sense. We can all find it within us. And common sense, volunteering, helping people out, and the weather. We have arranged the weather. This is a Go Local weather that we have arranged. This has been arranged by us. And it's amazing. It was the People's Olympics, and it's great. We want to keep the spirit going. We've now got Wimbledon, we've got the Tour de France, and it is amazing what we can do when we all work together. And that's a world thing. It's not just for Britain, it's just that this spirit can change the world. But I was competing with someone with a PA system over there. They stopped. The PA system was broken down. Maybe we won by megaphone thing. The megaphone, the tinny noise. There's something about the tinny noise that makes us do things. Everyone go over there. Everyone eat cheese. You go, the tinny person said eat cheese. Let's get the cheese in it. But I don't need it. I can do it without it. But I can also do it with it. But without it, with it, I do remember that the games makers had them, and they were doing really hysterical. Did people see those YouTube videos? Yeah. People were just talking rubbish, just like what I'm talking. Welcoming people from Australia, China, and Azerbaijan. And people do come from Azerbaijan, even though it seems like a comedy country. It's a real country with Azerbaijani people in it. Yes, there's people even photographing or videoing me with entire books of iPads. There you go. It looks like an entire book now these days. Hello. People here for the Join In Go Local event?
Yeah!
I want to hear excitement. Are people here for the Join In Go Local event? You didn't even hear what I said. You can ask me a question.
Oh my gosh, I saw you on Hannibal last night and you were such a scary serial killer. You were so scary.
I was a serial killer last night on Hannibal. Today I am not, but I believe if you are a comedian, if you go from comedy into drama and you're just people lining up. I only kill people who really, I don't really go on, actually I did kill a few people. Yes, I did on Hannibal. So if you do watch Hannibal, don't take your kids to watch it, even though it's in your house. Just leave your kids behind the sofa with the Daleks.
So the first thing you've got to do to be in a chance of winning the foam finger is to like this video by clicking the thumbs up. And I'm speaking to a London 2012 games maker. So what's your name and tell us about what you did at London 2012?
My name's Andrea, and at London 2012 I was a event services person on the common domain at the Olympic Park.
And what was the best thing about volunteering at a big sporting event like the Olympics or the Commonwealth Games?
I think it was people enjoying the atmosphere, seeing the great sportsmanship of everybody, encouraging people for the future, and just having a really, really cool time.
And I understand that you were lucky enough to get to wear a gold medal.
I did indeed. On the closing ceremony night, I got to wear the gold medal from a Canadian basketball player.
What an amazing moment that must have been.
It was absolutely the highlight of my event.
And what would you say to anybody who perhaps wasn't a London 2012 Games maker who is looking to volunteer at Glasgow 2014? What would be your best piece of advice to them?
I'd say, guys, go out there, enjoy it. You will find it an amazing, rewarding experience, and you will want to do it again and again and again.
All right, that's great. Thank you very much.
And now, please welcome your host for today. It's the one and only Tess Daly.
A massive, huge welcome to all of you here today. All 25,000 of you, I believe. 15,000 volunteers took part in the opening ceremony alone. And the reason that we're all here today in this fabulous park is to talk about volunteering, which is a massive part of the legacy of the Games. There's a volunteer down there, she's screaming.
Just hold that a second.
So amazing, every one of us has got two choices. We can sit back, we can remember last summer with a smile and we can do nothing at all, or we can stand up, join in and get involved. So, whether you're a London 2012 volunteer or you want to get involved in volunteering, we're going to show you how we can build on the energy of London 2012 and make a difference in your community. And we're going to help you find your perfect match with a volunteering project in your area. And I promise, I guarantee we're going to make it really, really easy for you to sign up, join in and go local. The chair of the London 2012 Organising Committee and the UK's Legacy Ambassador, Seb Coe.
Thank you. And thank you for coming home to the Olympic Park. It barely seems credible that it was a year ago that we were on the eve of witnessing those extraordinary scenes that we saw just a few moments ago on those video clips. And the extraordinary scenes that we witnessed with all of you who could not have done more to make London what it was last summer. So thank you, and thank you again. And to all the extraordinary volunteers, I can see a sea of games makers, city ambassadors, all the thousands of volunteer cast, many of whom I came to see at Dagenham learning how to tap dance in the driving rain. Again, we could not have done it without you. And the difference between a good Games and a great Games, as we always knew, would be you. And thank you for that, because you're the toast of countries around the world for what you did. It also seems barely credible that a few of us, nearly 12 or 13 years ago, sat in a pub somewhere in West London thinking that all this might be quite a good idea. And actually, I'm hoping you thought it was a good idea. And if you'd said to me that on the eve of the Games we would have had 8,500 people in an organising committee, 200,000 more people working across London and the country to help us deliver the Games, 70,000 of the best Games makers that the Olympic movement has ever seen, and all the other thousands of volunteers, and the torch relay, the 8,000 miles and the 8,000 torch bearers. I know many of you are out there today. And the 1,000 villages, hamlets, towns and cities that it visited, and the thousands of jobs that were created, and the hundreds of millions, the billions that went into British construction to create this extraordinary park. If you'd said to me that all that was written on the beer mat, I would have to be honest with you and said, well, maybe only a little bit of it. And the most important thing now is that we've sort of reached the halfway point. This was a 20-year journey. And you've been with us for the first half of that journey, And the most important thing now is to stay with us for the second half of this journey. And I'm going to ask you to commit to something in a few minutes. So I'll leave you with a little bit of time to sort of get prepared for it, because it's a big ask. And I know many of you are here today with loved ones and friends and family and people that you probably met during the games. And I know some of you, as Tess said, have arrived with a +1, maybe even a +2, maybe even a +3. I brought somebody along here today that I'm going to introduce to you in a few moments. If you can remember back to the closing ceremony and the words that I used, I talked about a very special person that I met on the tube train going to Excel. He was due to be the volunteer, he was a medic, and he was going to work at boxing. And we started to chat on the tube, and I said, thank you for doing this. And he said, no, thank you. And we did that sort of British thing where, no, thank you, no. And in the end, he cut through and he said, actually, I was on duty in one of the big London hospitals on the day of 7/7, which none of us will ever forget. And he said, for me, this is closure. And his name was Andrew Hartle, a great man. And I've invited Andrew to be my guest today, and I'm going to introduce you to him. Andrew, please, come out.
Sorry, dead arm.
Andrew, what does it all mean to you?
Well, where to start, really? 3 big things for me. Firstly, I got to go to the Olympics and see some of the world's greatest sport. Personally, one of the best things, I got to help show the world how good London is and get rid of a few personal demons of my own. But finally, I got the chance to be one of and work with 70,000 of the world's greatest, nicest people, the Games Makers. Thank you, Games Makers.
So there you go. A living legacy, if not a living legend, like all of you. So what is it I'm going to ask you to do? Over the next 10 years, we've got to make sure that we keep the tap running, that we get more young kids playing sport, and that's beginning to happen. We want more British businesses winning more business around the games and employing many more people, and that's beginning to happen. We want this park to be a living, breathing community at the end of that 10 years and for the hundreds of years following, and that's happening. 8 venues, all with legacy, all with tenants, all with people around and living. The village will be home to thousands of people within the next year or so. And there was another thing that we committed to, and that is to make sure that we didn't just have a summer of volunteering, that we have a lifetime of volunteering. So I'm going to ask you something, and it's a very big ask. I don't want any of you to leave this park this afternoon without agreeing to join in. And join in is what we're here promoting. Join in means going out into your community and finding one of those 164,000 clubs, community sports centres, areas of activity that have all said they need your help and they need your help now. Please, please do that. That is so important. That is probably one of the strongest legacies that we could possibly demonstrate to the rest of the world that we achieved. And I know you're not going to let me down on this. 164 community-based clubs, sports clubs, organisations, 3/4 of all have said they need you. They need you. So get onto that website. Sign up here today. Do not leave the park without committing to that. And that would make me very happy. It would make all the join-in guys very happy. But actually, for those of you that volunteered last year, please, if you're standing next to somebody that hasn't volunteered or has never been involved in volunteering, tell them what it meant to you. Tell them in exactly the way that Andrew told us a few moments ago and go out there and join in. And Boris will also, when I introduce him, Boris isn't going to let you get away with that either. He's going to be out here in just a few moments when I shut up and get off the stage. And I'm going to leave you with no other message than thank you. We could not have done this without you. And I'm now going to hand over to the splendiferous Mayor of London, Boris Johnson.
Unbelievable. It's wonderful to see you again. It's absolutely incredible to see so many people here in the Olympic Park. Doesn't it feel wonderful to be back here? And what an amazing legacy we are already getting, my friends, from those Olympic and Paralympic Games. The weather is better than any pre-Olympic weather for the last 10 years, isn't it? And talk about sporting legacy, we're winning more sporting events. I can remember in the history of this country, we're winning the rugby, the Tour de France, the Tour de France. We were doing all right in the Ashes today. Wimbledon has been won by a British man for the first time in 77 years. But my friends, I am not one of those shameless catch-penny politicians who tries to bathe in the reflected glory of some great national sporting triumph. I did that last year. I want to concentrate really hard today on the incredible economic legacy, the real story of what those games have produced. And when you look around this park, you see London achieving something that no previous Olympic city has ever done. All 8 of our venues, the aquatic centre, the velodrome, the copper box, the village, the whatever a copper box may be, the stadium, the ArcelorMittal Orbit Tour towering in all its mysterious splendour, the world's largest representation of a crushed trombone. All of them have a lasting private sector future. They're all going to be fantastic for generations to come. And every day, every week, I see examples of confidence in our city. Money flooding in from Croydon, where you've got this amazing investment in the town centre, from the shopping giants Westfield and Hammerson to Battersea, where that great power station. Or most of our lives fit for nothing except the album cover for Pink Floyd. Now I'm going to be transformed into jobs, into homes, into flats, into businesses, and here in the Olympic Park, stretching right the way through to the Royal Docks, you're seeing billions of pounds of investment coming to London. I think as a direct result of what people saw last year. I had the honour of receiving in my office in City Hall the former French Prime Minister Alain Juppé, who is a very distinguished man. And he's no longer French Prime Minister, he's now Mayor of Bordeaux. And he came into my office with his Légion d'honneur and all his flunkies, and he told me that he was very proud because he was now the mayor of a city that had 239,517 people, therefore he was the mayor of the 9th biggest city in France. And I got the ball back very firmly over the net, ladies and gentlemen, because I said that we had 250,000 French men and women in London. They're the 6th biggest French city on earth. And that talent, that investment, believe me, is coming to London because of what people saw last year when they turned on their TVs and they looked at our city. What did they see? What was the best thing about those Olympic and Paralympic Games? What was the most wonderful thing? Was it the transport network on which I've just taken the Prime Minister today on the Jubilee line? Very, very, a bit toasty, but it was running beautifully well. 3 miles an hour faster than I was elected. Was that the best thing? No. Was it the security guards who turned up in huge numbers, having exhausted all the alternatives? Was it Team GB?
No.
Paralympics? Yes, it was. Who won more medals per head than any other country on Earth? In a statistic that I have not yet verified, but I'm sure it's or was the thing that really distinguished the London Olympics, was it something else? Was it something about the atmosphere of London? I'll tell you what I think it was. It was the volunteers, wasn't it? It was the army of the Magenta Magicians, the Team London ambassadors, the games makers. It was you who made the difference. You sent an image around the world of a city that was welcoming and generous and dynamic and warm-hearted and caring, and where people did acts of supererogatory kindness for others, and that was polychromatic and polymorphous and generally the most wonderful place on earth. And that's why people say, get me to London. So thank you very much, all you volunteers. Thank you, everybody, for coming along today. Are we going to keep this thing going? Are we going to do what my noble and learned friend Lord Sebastian Newbold Coe says? Are we going to sign up? Are we going to sign other people up for volunteering? Yes, we are. More volunteering. Do something fantastic for your city. Do something great for your city and your community. Sign someone else up today. Sign someone else. Tune in. Turn on. No, what? Join in. Join in. Sign up. Join Team London. Join our volunteers today. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming along. And I hope you have a fantastic, fantastic afternoon. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only the man of London. Thank you very much, Boris. Good to see you. A lot of fans in this audience. Right then, thank you for that name check. Thank you. I know. Today brings together two wonderful organisations, Join In and the Mayor of London's Team London. Now they are a perfect match. Now you've got a choice. You can either sit back, enjoy the memories of last summer and do nothing at all, or you can come together once again and really make a massive difference. And I think I know what you lot would rather do, right? Yes. Get involved. After all, last summer you created history, and you created history once again, and we want you to keep on creating history into the future.
The second thing you need to do to be in a chance of winning the foam finger is to subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button.
A massive welcome to Eddie Izzard!
I felt a little inadequate. I was asked if I could be sort of ambassador, cheerleader, I don't know what I was, for the volunteers. I kind of wanted to be a volunteer. I wanted to get the uniform, and I wanted to go out and go, yeah, that direction, mate. Yeah, no, the food's over there. I wanted to do this, so I felt rather inadequate, and you guys did the work. I did nothing. I think I did nothing. I just sort of pointed in directions and was an idiot and on videos and stuff. So I want to thank all volunteers that are here, because it's and this is good to London ambassadors and the ceremony volunteers. Are very rare to get noticed. Ceremony volunteers were all over there who did all the ceremonies, and of course the games makers from across the world. And I know Boris was talking about London, but this was UK, but this was even more than that. For the first time that I really saw everyone, which was down at Wembley. Remember Wembley? It was snowing. That was in the snow. We could have had a snowy games, but no, we had a sunny games. And the sun today was brought here because you guys wanted it to be here, and that's why it came. That's why we had this thing. So all the way from there to coming out, and all I did was just go around and try and see people during the games. And the games were, do you remember just before the games, there was just this spirit of kind of, oh, it might not work, it might not happen, and then suddenly it took off. And you guys at the Paralympic Games and the Olympic Games, you got 2 standing rounds of applause, one at each games, and that was just amazing. And it really got through to me. It just kind of blew my mind. And what I said in that video before, I really felt it. I just want to thank you for everything you've done and everything you will do from now on in. So that's from me to you. So now we have 2 choices, whether we sit down and relax and it just goes away, or whether we continue this. Because did we not have the best year of sports ever last year? Was that? That could have been the best year ever, and now we've won Wimbledon with Andy Murray. There's nothing we can do if we don't think about it. But the next generations, it needs your energy, and you will control the energy. It's amongst you, and there's some people here who weren't volunteers, weren't games makers, but now if you can help on the local level, we can get the next generations. There's a Rugby League Cup, World Cup League. This year, that's this year. I didn't know that was coming. Next year, what about next year? The Commonwealth Games 2017. We have the World Championships. It's up to you guys to do this. Communities need you, and you have the energy, you have the imagination, you can do all this. So, get on the line, get people signed up, do everything you can. And this spirit is British, but it's also world. I said this before, it's something that can change the world. And you people are changing the world every time you do this and you volunteer. Thank you so much.
Let's talk volunteering, shall we, Rebecca? Who was the volunteer who made the biggest impact on you early on in your career?
There wasn't just one, there was so many, especially in my sport, swimming. Even from when I learned to swim, there was kind of assistant coaches that would help out the club to every swimming galas on Saturdays that would like parents time keeping you, and just so many throughout my career. So I know how important you guys are, so thank you.
Got it right here. And of course you were taking part in the games last summer. How impressed were you by the games makers?
Oh, so impressed. They just went above and beyond. They weren't just doing kind of the jobs they got set out to, they were just willing to help in any way. And I think we have a few here. I could see
I think we do. Make some noise.
The third thing you've got to do to try and win the foam finger is to share this video by using the share icon.
Welcome, Mr. Mayor. How about that for a reception?
Astounding.
Is it?
Thank you very much. Evening, everybody.
Would you mind, please, Boris, would you mind telling all of us what Team London is actually about?
Team London is your chance to join in and do something great for the neighbourhood, for the city, for the whole country. It can be all sorts of things. It can be greening and cleaning and planting trees and that kind of stuff, or it can be reading to kids in a school, mentoring young people, helping old people to turn on the TV, which I can't do anymore at my stage in life, is all too complicated. All sorts of things that you can do through Team London. If you have the time and you've got the energy and the inclination, then we've got the opportunity for you. Join Team London.
Why should everybody here get involved, Mr. Mayor?
Because there are so many young people who need our help, so many young people who need mentoring, who need reading, so much green space that can be improved, so many fantastic things that can be done, but also so many potential volunteers out there, aren't there? There's so many people who have energy, who have commitment, who want to do something. And the trouble is with volunteering, it's often not very easy to do because you don't know where the opportunity is. Team London makes it simple. We'll do it for you. Get onto our website, find out.
So you heard it right here, that's how you get involved. Get on the website. Thank you very much for that. That was fun. And Maurice.
You can't get hold of me, get hold of Veronica Wadley, who's in charge of that kind of thing.
Okay.
I'm just so honoured now to introduce my +1 today. You probably saw him on Britain's Got Talent. He was one of the finalists. He is the hugely talented Jack Carroll!
I need that theme music just when I'm walking around normally. That'd get my day off to a nice start. Are we having a nice time? I would be if I wasn't this complexion, like some sort of vampire. This weather's no good for me. Eddie Izzard's on later. Guess who taught him how to run all them marathons? Me. Olympic Park. It's nice, but like £10 billion and not a swinging sight. We all enjoyed the Olympics. I particularly enjoyed the opening ceremony. Russell Brand made an appearance. What is it with Danny Boyle and drug addict? And Mr. Bean also made an appearance, or Boris Johnson, as he's otherwise known. It was fine to take the mick out of people on Britain's Got Talent. The worst that could happen is I get kicked off the competition. What happens here is MI6 slip a hood over my head. But no, obviously I've made jokes about Boris, but I got to interview him earlier actually. They thought I was BBC political correspondent Nick Robinson. That would have been fine if they hadn't followed it up with, "Oh, Nick, you've put on weight." But yeah, I did enjoy the Olympics. One thing I thought was a bit weird was that one of the sponsors was McDonald's. Like, there was people in homes across the country going, you know, well, I'd like to be a bit more athletic and maybe, you know, become a sporting hero like these people. Oh, that looks like a nice cheeseburger. But yeah, I've had a pretty hectic time, you know, after Britain's Got Talent. I've even started a new dance craze based on the movements of a Tory politician, Boris dancing. Cheers, thank you.
Well, the camcorder battery's died now, but I think that's about it really. The rest of it's going to be music and dancing, so I'm going to enjoy myself. But I think the message here is
Still
clear.
to come, live on the Go Local stage.
Okay, and the last thing you've got to do if you've liked, subscribed and shared is to think of your own little Olympic joke. You've seen Jack Carroll and his comedy sketch there, so what I'd like you to do is come over an Olympic joke and leave it as a comment in the comments box below this video, and I'll pick the one that I think is my favourite, and that will be the person that wins the foam finger. Thanks for watching.